Here's a number you won't forget. 17. That's just how many seconds it took for a Mossad team to eliminate a target in Damascus. 17 seconds. No alarms, no witnesses, just a body and a mystery. This is the reality of modern espionage. Missions executed with terrifying precision. The CIA, Mossad, MI6 and FSB have all perfected the art of the silent kill. But how? What technology do they use? What secrets do they keep? And what happens when their operations go wrong? Today we're counting down the most jaw-dropping spy missions in history. Let's start with the CIA's drone warfare revolution. On September 30th, 2011, a drone operator in Nevada pulled the trigger on a missile strike in Yemen. The target was Anwar al-Awlaki, an American citizen. No trial, no jury, just a green light from Washington. This marked a turning point in modern espionage, where killing moved from back alleys to computer screens. The CIA's shift to drone warfare changed the rules of the game. Instead of sending agents into hostile territory, targets could now be eliminated by pilots sitting 8,000 miles away. The MQ-1 Predator drone became their weapon of choice, a 27-foot-long unmanned aircraft that could loiter over targets for 14 hours straight. Its Hellfire missiles could hit a target within 3 feet of their programmed coordinates. But precision came with ethical dilemmas. Signature strikes became the program's most controversial tactic. Instead of confirming a target's identity, the CIA began approving strikes based on patterns of behavior. Military-age males carrying weapons in conflict zones, that was often enough. A 2014 investigation revealed that in one 5-month period, 90% of people killed in drone strikes weren't the intended targets. Entire families were wiped out in strikes targeting single individuals. The program's epicenter was Pakistan's tribal regions. Between 2004 and 2018, the CIA conducted over 400 strikes there. Whole villages lived under the constant buzz of drones overhead, a sound locals called banzai. The psychological impact was calculated. The mere presence of drones terrorized communities, but the strategy backfired in unexpected ways. A 2012 study by Stanford and NYU found that drone strikes radicalized local populations, becoming the #1 recruitment tool for militants. Legal scholars still debate whether these operations counted as warfare or assassination. The CIA operated in a gray zone, conducting military strikes without wearing uniforms or declaring war. Their lawyers argued they were targeting combatants in an armed conflict. Human rights groups called it extrajudicial killing. The program's legal justification remained classified, buried in memos few would ever read. One declassified document revealed the chilling efficiency of the system. After a drone identified a target, the CIA could get strike approval in under 6 minutes. The agency maintained lists of targets, some for assassination, others for surveillance. Names could move between lists without notification or explanation. In 2013 alone, the CIA added over 1,500 names to their databases. The drone program didn't just change how the CIA fought, it changed who could be fought. For the first time in history, a government claimed the right to kill its own citizens abroad without due process. The precedent set in those Pakistani mountains now echoes through every modern conflict. While the CIA was perfecting remote killing, another agency was proving old-school spycraft still had teeth. Just like we did for the CIA, let's touch on Mossad's surgical strikes, the human factor. On January 19, 2010, 11 people checked into Dubai's Al Bustan Rotana hotel, wearing tennis outfits and fake stomachs to alter their silhouettes. Within 8 minutes, Mahmoud al-Mabou was dead in his room, electrocuted, then suffocated. Surveillance footage showed the team leaving calmly, some stopping to buy ice cream downstairs. Dubai police identified 26 Mossad operatives from CCTV. None were ever arrested. Mossad's Kidon unit operates differently from other intelligence agencies. Where the CIA relies on drones, Israel's program sends small teams armed with customized tools, poison pens disguised as Barker fountain pens, slow-acting toxins that kill hours after injection, explosives hidden in cell phones that trigger when answered. Each mission uses tailored equipment that leaves minimal forensic traces. The Dubai hit wasn't unusual for its violence, but for how much footage surfaced afterward. Normally, Mossad operatives disappear completely. Take their operation against Iranian nuclear scientists between 2010 and 2012.
Israel has long been suspected of killing a number of Iranian nuclear scientists.
Teams rig motorcycles with magnetic bombs that detonated beside moving cars. Surgeons then confirmed the bombs contained radioactive isotopes to ensure fatalities. Unlike drone strikes, these operations depend on human intuition, agents making split-second decisions based on the target's unpredictable movements. High-risk missions continue because Mossad values psychological impact as much as physical elimination. When they stole half a ton of nuclear documents from Tehran in 2018, they didn't just take files, they left the safe wide open as a message. The heist required months of prep. Iranian guards were bribed, alarm systems mapped, and a demolition team ready to burn evidence if caught. Yet the biggest revelation came later. Mossad had known about the archive for years, but waited until Iran moved it to a supposedly secure location before striking. Their cyber unit, known as Unit 8200, rivals any military hacking group. In 2020, they infiltrated a warehouse in Tehran housing Iran's nuclear backup servers. Using a previously undiscovered vulnerability, they accessed computers not connected to the internet, likely via a contractor's infected USB drive. The operation mirrored their physical thefts: undetected entry, precise extraction, and an intentional leak afterward to maximize psychological damage. What separates Mossad from other agencies is their willingness to trade stealth for certainty. When tracking Adolf Eichmann in 1960, agents spent weeks confirming his identity before snatching him off a Buenos Aires street. Operation Wrath of God, their response to the Munich massacre, saw teams hunt targets for years across multiple countries. Each bullet left a signature, 13 rounds for the 13 Israeli athletes killed in Munich. Their methods create an unusual paradox. Mossad operatives are regularly caught on camera, yet almost never prosecuted. Governments pretend not to recognize them, even when holding their passports. The agency counts on this political theater. Their true weapon isn't poison or cyber tools, but the certainty that Israel will retaliate for any attack. That reputation makes enemies think twice, which may be the point of getting caught on tape in Dubai. Unlike drones or satellites, Mossad's greatest asset remains their operatives' willingness to walk into hostile territory. Many train for years just to blend into Arab countries flawlessly. Some even serve in Arabic-speaking units of the Israeli Defense Forces first. Small details matter. Knowing when to adjust a headscarf, how to hold prayer beads naturally, or which cell phone models locals actually use. These skills can't be automated, which is why, while other spies watch from screens, Mossad still sends people through the door. The art of infiltration is known with one agency, MI6 and its invisible army. Kim Philby drank champagne with MI6 colleagues while passing British secrets to Moscow for 18 years. As head of counterintelligence, he even helped hunt Soviet moles, including himself. The Cambridge Five didn't just infiltrate British intelligence, they ran entire departments. Burgess and Maclean accessed atomic secrets. Blunt interrogated Nazi prisoners while reporting to Stalin. Their betrayal wasn't discovered until 1951, and even then, Philby escaped to Moscow with a knighthood. This remains the ultimate double-agent operation, not because it was sophisticated, but because it exploited trust at the highest levels. That indeed was a successful one from the Russian FSB. Modern recruitment works differently. MI6 now profiles targets using psychological assessments before approaching them. They identify leverage points, debt, family problems, or hidden vices. A 2016 operation in Syria involved an asset recruited through his daughter's medical bills. The agency paid for her cancer treatment in London in exchange for access to his position in Assad's inner circle. Money still works, but ideology increasingly drives recruitment. Younger assets often cooperate because they oppose their own governments, not for payment. Honey traps remain controversial but effective. In 2018, a Russian diplomat in Estonia was caught providing NATO documents to an MI6 operative posing as a Latvian energy consultant. Their 6-month relationship ended when his handlers noticed inconsistencies in her background. The FSB later confirmed she didn't exist. Her identity was built using a dead woman's passport. MI6 also creates fake NGOs. One front organization in Belarus posed as an election monitoring group while funneling money to opposition figures. These covers allow agents to operate openly while maintaining plausible deniability. Deep cover illegals represent the highest risk infiltration. Agents spend years building false identities before deployment. The longest-running known case involved a couple posing as Canadian entrepreneurs in New York from 1996 to 2010. They raised children who didn't know their parents were spies. When arrested, their home contained invisible ink pens, cipher books, and $100,000 in cash sewn into coats.
Ex-Russian spy Alexander Litvinenko was murdered in London.
Litvinenko had been given a massive dose
of this highly toxic radioactive element, polonium-210.
The Litvinenko poisoning revealed how far Russia would go to eliminate traitors, and how thoroughly MI6 tracks retaliation. After Litvinenko drank polonium-laced tea in London, investigators traced the radioactive trail across the city. They found contamination at the hotel where agents met him, the restaurant where he was poisoned, and even the plane his killers used to flee. The case proved MI6 had been monitoring FSB operatives long before the hit. They just didn't intervene in time. What makes MI6 unique isn't their methods, but their patience. While Mossad conducts lightning strikes and the CIA relies on technology, British intelligence plays the long game. They'll spend a decade cultivating a single source. The Cambridge Five stayed hidden for so long because no one suspected elites would betray their own class. Today's recruits aren't always insiders. Sometimes they're janitors with access to the right offices, or tech workers who can insert malware during routine updates. The real damage often comes from what isn't stolen, but manipulated. Double agents don't just leak information, they feed false data back to their handlers. During World War II, MI6 turned every German spy in Britain into a double agent, creating the legendary double-cross system. They used these assets to convince Hitler the D-Day landing would be at Calais, not Normandy. Modern deception operations are less theatrical, but equally calculated. A whispered rumor at a diplomatic reception, a forged email forwarded to the right inbox. MI6 has got many tricks up the sleeves. Bringing it to this present day. The war in Ukraine isn't just fought with tanks. It's a digital battleground where FSB hackers disable power grids while CIA satellites track troop movements in real time. Cyber attacks on Ukrainian infrastructure leave whole cities dark, yet no fingerprints point directly to Moscow. Meanwhile, intercepted communications reveal Russian operatives discussing sabotage plans, their voices identified by CIA voiceprint tech. Both sides deny involvement, but leaked documents show intelligence agencies pulling strings behind every major strike. As Ukraine pushes back using Western cyber tools, the war proves modern conflict happens silently first, violently second. Whoever wins this unseen fight gains the upper hand long before troops ever meet.